There's been this big debate online about whether you should rent or buy a home, and which one is actually cheaper. Everyone has an opinion, and everyone thinks they're right. So in this video, I'm going to clear up some confusion, break down the numbers, show you the analysis, and hopefully by the end of this video, you will have a better idea of what actually makes more financial sense for you. But before we dive into all of that, let's talk about inflation because that plays a really big role in this discussion. If you've been following the news in general, you already know that inflation is the highest that we've seen it in the last 40 years, and we're seeing it affect everything. Groceries are more expensive, gas is more expensive, and so is real estate. When prices go up across the board, that's inflation. But when real estate goes up at a faster rate than everything else, then that's a problem. When homeowners take out a mortgage and lock in a low interest rate, their monthly payment stays the same regardless of how much the house appreciates. Now you've got some benefits to that, but there's also a catch. While inflation is going up and eroding the power of the dollar, homeowners are stuck making the same payment every single month, and that means there is less room for the average homeowner to pay down their mortgage. As a result, real estate prices keep going up and people keep getting priced out of the market. With that being said, rent prices are also going up too, since everything else is more expensive. But renters can move out when their lease is over if it gets too expensive and they can't afford it anymore. People who own their homes can't just move into a smaller place or downsize without selling their house first. If you're new here, welcome. Let's get straight into the video. Let's start off with this statement that I know everyone's going to disagree with me on, which is that buying a home is cheaper than renting a home. Okay, hear me out because it depends on what you're comparing. If you compare the cost of buying a home versus the cost of renting a similar home, then yes, buying is cheaper in most cases. You're not paying someone else money, you're building equity in your home, and you've got tax benefits that you wouldn't have otherwise. However, I'm going to argue that owning a home isn't a great investment. I don't care what anyone says. A home is an investment in your family. It's not a great investment long term. Not talking rental properties, homes appreciate at around 3.8% annually, which is significantly lower than the S&P 500's historical return of about 10% per year. If you invested your money in the stock market instead of real estate, you could make a lot more money, but I'm not suggesting that you do that. You shouldn't sell your home to invest in the stock market. What I am saying is that housing isn't a great investment and you shouldn't view it like one. Let's look at the math. Let's say you buy a home for $400,000 and you finance the entire amount at 6%. The fixed rate mortgage is for 30 years and you don't put any money down. It's pretty typical these days. Your monthly mortgage payment would be about $2,337 per month. I'm not including taxes and insurance in this example, but we'll get to that in a second. So that's roughly $2,337 per month to buy this home. Now let's look at the numbers for renting. Obviously, rents will vary depending on where you live. But according to Rent Cafe, the average rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in the US is $1,200. Let's assume that you can find a decent place to live for around $1,400 per month. So now you're spending $1,400 per month on rent and $2,337 per month to buy the same home. Here's the thing though, if you're buying, you need to pay for closing costs, property taxes, and insurance. Those can add another $55,000 on top of the purchase price, which is about $2,200 per month. So now you're spending $2,900 per month to buy the home. Now you're only saving about $1,500 per month by renting. And this is where the math starts to get interesting. Assuming that you're making the same monthly payments towards your home, whether you're renting or buying, how long does it take to break even? For reference, $1,500 saved each month at a 6% return is about $24,000 invested in the stock market. So how long does it take to earn $24,000? Well, if you can earn 8%, it would take you 3 years. If you can earn 10%, it would take you 2.5 years. The point is that you need to factor in all the costs associated with both renting and buying before you decide which option is better for you. Now, while buying might be more expensive upfront, you still have some advantages that renters don't. For starters, when you own a home, you can renovate it to add value and increase your living space. You can expand the home as your family grows, whereas renting doesn't offer those options. So if you have kids or plan on having kids, owning might be a better choice. Why? Because you can renovate your home and add extra bedrooms for your kids instead of paying more for rent elsewhere. You also have the benefit of locking in your housing expenses. Whereas rent can go up, your housing payment stays the same. However, this is only true if you finance the whole purchase price. Most people do put some money down. If you do that, your monthly payment would be slightly less and you'd build equity in your home sooner. So if you plan on staying in your home for at least 5 to 10 years, might be worth putting more money down up front to save yourself from paying interest charges down the road. And don't forget about tax deductions. You can deduct the interest that you pay on your mortgage from your taxable income. That alone could save you thousands of dollars every year, depending on your income bracket. So if you want to own a home, go ahead. Own if you want to, you have no problem taking care of it. You want to build a family there? Set down your roots for a school district, etc. And rent if you want to, too. There's nothing wrong with renting either. You can save money in the short term. You have flexibility and you don't have to worry about repairs and maintenance. You don't have the option to expand your living space. You're not building equity and your housing costs will likely go up over time. But there are plenty of benefits to renting too. So it's up to you. I don't think that there's a clear winner in this debate. Depends on your personal circumstances, financial situation, and your goals. However, if you do want to buy a home, make sure that you run the numbers and factor in all the costs involved. Don't just focus on the monthly payment because that alone can be misleading. Before you leave, check out this video over here for more tips on personal finance and investing. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. No, you have to be able to qualify to rent. You have to have income, credit, rental history. Even landlords are picky on who they rent to, so I'm going to disagree with you on that one. I think that owning a home might be more work, but it's definitely not easier than renting. All right, let's go on to the next one. Owning a home is better. Now, I'm going to agree with this one. I think if you want to own a home, you should own a home. Own if you want to, you have no problem taking care of it. You want to build a family there, set down your roots for a school district, etc., and rent if you want to. Now, if you want to rent, there are so many benefits to renting. First off, you're free to travel. You want to travel and let's say you owned a home. Who's going to take care of it while you're gone? You have to get a pet sitter. You have to get someone to water your plants. You have to get someone to mow your lawn, collect your mail. Who's going to do all those things? You can't really leave town without prepping for it. When you rent, you just lock the door and go. You don't have to worry about anything. Sure, landlord's going to handle it. No. 2, if you have a problem with your home, who's going to fix it? If you own your home, you have to find a contractor. Get 3 bids for everything. Try to do it yourself, and maybe screw it up even more. These are all things that you don't have to worry about when you rent. The landlord's going to take care of all that stuff. So if you don't want to deal with any of that, then rent. Also, if you're planning on moving every few years, renting is definitely the way to go because you're not tied down. You can pick up and go whenever you want. So the question is, should you buy or should you rent? The answer is, well, it depends. You have to take a look at your individual circumstances and figure out what works best for you. For example, if you're young and you're just starting out and you don't have much experience with owning a home, maybe renting is the way to go until you gain that experience. But if you're at a point in your life where you're ready to settle down, you want to plant roots, you want to raise a family, then you should definitely consider buying a home. In the end, it's all about finding what works best for you. There's no right or wrong answer. If you're renting and you're happy, then keep renting. If you're buying and you're happy, then keep buying. But just remember that no matter what, you should always do what's best for you and your family. I hope this video helped shed some light on the renting versus buying debate. Well, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video where we dissect the dark truth of lease and why companies don't want you to know. Have a blessed day.